This is The Flower of Freedom by Deborah J. Reeves. All rights to both the book and presentation are reserved. Thanks for coming. We've only got 9 chapters to go in this book, but we are planning to continue with the next book in the trilogy. Please find your seat, as long as you've brought your good heart and your good intentions with you. We hope, as always, that you will participate in the planting of new seeds to start a virtuous cycle wherever you may be. This is our contribution to get the ball rolling. This is chapter 176. It's called The Ripple Effect, and you're oh so welcome here, as long as you brought your good heart and good intentions. Detective Sergeant Richard still felt badly when he got back to Montreal. He did not have all the information, of course, but he had enough to take the next steps. He had to get a hold of Philippe's family. He started by calling Cloutier, the gendarme in Paris. He filled him in on the events. He heard the chair on the other side of the Atlantic creak as Cloutier sat back in an exhale of breath. Cloutier finally said, "The carnage that one man created is so vast that it's hard to take in. I met that young man. I thought he was exceptional. His parents will be devastated. Aki will be too. I suppose it falls to me to inform them. That's the least favorite part of my job, so thanks for that, Richard." "It's the least favorite part of every copper's job. I'm sorry to dump it on you." "Never mind. I don't envy you having to deal with the fiasco there. At least Hans Schmidt's reign of terror is over. There can be no doubt, can there?" "None. Not only did we have someone who had known him identify him, she also had his teeth marks in her hip. We photographed them and matched her scar against his teeth." "Pretty conclusive. I wish we'd gotten to him sooner." "How did he end up dead?" "We speculate that we weren't the only ones watching him. We got an alert when Bianca Saint-Laurent came back to Canada. The doorman at Hans's building in Buenos Aires filed a report that said something bizarre had transpired between Bianca and Hans. A day after Bianca fled back to Canada, Hans left his building, and that day another young guy in his sphere, a guy who was once Bianca's boyfriend in France, and someone who bragged about his sexual relationship with her more recently, turned up dead. They're pretty sure it was Hans, same MO, but a bit more vicious. He removed the fingers rather than just breaking them, and he also castrated the young guy. Interpol tracked Hans as far as New York. He disappeared into thin air there. We always knew that he had contacts with organized crime in Montreal, so we were on the lookout. We suspect that the Nazi hunters of Mossad were on the case. The night of the fiasco, a black sedan showed up, and 2 men seized Hans before the cops arrived. Later, they found his body. The coroner's report said that all his fingers had been broken, and his neck had been broken as well. That's reminiscent of Hans' own methods. No one knows Hans' methods like the Nazi hunters did. But who knows? As I said, it's just speculation. Inspector Cloutier finished his call and he looked at his watch. He wished he could just clock out and deal with it another day. No, he decided, better not put this off. He decided to talk to Aki first, so he drove over to his penthouse, greeted the doorman, and he went upstairs. Aki answered the door himself. He looked older than he had last time Cloutier had seen him. Cloutier asked him how he could ever, even for a second, have suspected that Aki had anything to do with his wife's disappearance. "I must remember that at the beginning of every investigation. It will remind me that sometimes people are actually good. As he opened the door, Key said, I was wondering when I'd see you. Come in. I think we both could use a cognac. Will you join me? As the inspector sat waiting for Key to pour the drink, he tried to find just the right words. He'd tried to find the words all the way over as he drove, rehearsing different approaches in his mind. Key handed him the drink and said, Let me go first. I think it will make everything easier. You might just dismiss this as the tale of a silly old man, but I'll tell you anyways. 2 nights ago I was asleep. I had a dream unlike any other that I've ever had. It was so real that when I woke up in my own bed, I did not know where I was. I had a visit from a young friend of mine. He told me many things as we walked in the grounds of the chateau where I grew up. He showed me many things. He made me laugh and he made me cry, but most of all, he made me proud. He told me what he needed me to do. He inspired me with purpose for the rest of my life. He told me that he was dead and that no amount of arguing with him could make him change his mind. I offered to take his place and he said it didn't work that way. To prove that it was already a done deal, he reintroduced me to one of the loves of my life, Marie's grandmother. He even allowed me to resolve some long-standing burdens of guilt I'd carried with me about her. Even in death, he was the most generous man I ever met, Key said, and a tear slipped down his wrinkly cheek. He told me that Hans Schmidt was dead and could no longer hurt anyone we love. The man who killed my wife is dead. You'd think I'd be happy to know that one particular evil is finished, but all I feel is empty for the goodness that the whole world lost when Philippe left us. Fear rushes into the place he left in my heart, and worry for Marie, of course. He said you would come, and he asked me to go with you to help his parents. His main concern was for his parents and for my niece. So, yes, Inspector, I know that the boy who was going to carry on my family line is dead. I know that Philippe is dead. It's a very sad thing to know. Cloutier sat there looking at Key with wonder. He sipped his brandy until Key asked him if he was ready to go to the Depardieu home. Sometimes there are no words to make things right, or even better. Companionable silence sometimes must do. As Cloutier drove the several blocks to the Depardieu home, he looked at the clear blue skies and listened to the soft music on the radio. The world should be changed when a good person dies, he thought. And then he realized that it wasn't the least bit changed. Instead, it felt like a cup of water had been removed from a pond. The remaining water simply rushes in to fill the place. Only the ripples remain as they travel to the shore of the people whose lives touched the one that was lost. How do you hold on to a ripple when even the ripples dissipate? That's the end of chapter 176. Please come back for the next, which is called Soldiering On. And please give us a thumbs up and subscribe so that we can reach more people and get them motivated to start planting seeds for the virtuous cycle in 1 million or 1 trillion places. Please and thank you. I remain your friend, Deborah. Bye-bye.